Joining me now is Selika Talbott, a mobility thought leader. And Selika, what is a mobility thought leader?
First of all, I want to say thank you for having me. Um, I think a mobility thought leader is certainly someone who's very opinionated. I think of mobility as the movement of people, goods, and information, and how we access it. If we look at it from an equity standpoint, which is not rich or poor, just the opportunity to have the fullness of movement, that's what a mobility thought leader is concerned about. I help to influence policy, help companies as they scale and grow in those spaces, and certainly to influence government as they either enforce or set mandates.
And how do you think autonomous vehicles can help to push that forward?
Oh, that's like my favorite topic of all time is to talk about autonomous vehicles and really what it means for our future. There are so many people who have mobility access challenges. It's not just whether there's a bus near your home, but can you traverse the sidewalks to get to the bus? Do you have to cross into a street in order to walk to where you need to go? What about goods and services? If there's no grocery store in your community, what's that travel like for you to get food for your family or healthcare and so on? So an autonomous vehicle, it really is the opportunity to create a level playing field. Without the expense of a human in the vehicle, a car becomes so much cheaper, exponentially cheaper for people to access movement. I may not be able to afford a vehicle, and certainly rideshare might be too expensive for me to use on a regular basis and or unreliable. There's also concerns about safety. Now I have an autonomous vehicle that will help me go when I want to go and where I want to go, and because I'm not paying for that human driver, it will be that much cheaper. It's not a panacea, but it certainly will help millions of people who have to schedule 2 and 3 weeks ahead of time where they need to go. Now an autonomous vehicle will take them when they want to be there.
What are some of the gaps that you see right now?
Well, as I said, it's not a panacea. We have a ways to go. One of my primary concerns is what we call autono-washing. Vehicles that claim they are something that they are not. Um, uh, Commercials where you see people doing all sorts of things without their hands or eyes on a wheel as if that's a safe practice today. In honest reflection, there is no autonomous vehicle for private personal purchase in the United States today. Full autonomy is level 4, with your eyes and mind off the road and without you steering or in any way participating in the movement process. We have companies that are providing those services, whether it's in San Francisco or Chandler or Phoenix. Some are trying to do it in Austin and certainly Los Angeles. But there are other companies who are claiming that they have that capability, and when frankly they don't. And so that hurts reliability in the industry.
Do you think that having the ability to have a personal autonomous vehicle is a gap, or do you think that it should continue to be where a company is running it?
I have said from the start, this is not a rich man's toy. In fact, if government came in and said, we're not going to allow personal ownership, I think we as a society should be okay with that. What we don't want to do is congest our roadways any more than they already are. The point of this is to create mobility, but we have to be environmentally conscious. We have to look at the sustainability issues. We have to address how people can move, how they can move in a fair and affordable manner, safely throughout community. And your personal ownership of it is not necessary. Frankly, if you can afford a vehicle that's $200,000 or $250,000 or more, you should just get a chauffeur.
Now, you have a children's book about mobility.
I do.
Tell me how that works into the work that you do.
Absolutely. So during COVID, I wrote a children's book. And when I presented it to the illustrator to help me narrate visually this book, it turned out it was a 7-book series and not one book. So the first one came out last year, and it's called Sammy and Sally Move Around Town. The book really shows children at a stop sign understanding that the stop sign works for the pedestrian as well, for the biker and the scooter, that you have had to eye contact with vehicles that are much taller than you to make sure that they see you before you cross the road, wearing a helmet. But also we introduce new mobility, which is robot delivery, into the book, so children can start to see what their future will look like and become comfortable with it. The purpose behind the book was, sadly, 3 children die every single day in America in a car-related crash. I'm trying to do my best to educate around mobility so that we can reduce those numbers.
Do you think autonomous vehicles can reduce those numbers?
Absolutely. As human beings, we are often driving drunk, drugged, or distracted. The autonomous vehicle does none of those things. It's on the job, paying attention each and every day. It doesn't mean that a crash will never happen, but certainly reduce the number of crashes that are happening on the roadway, and therefore make it safer for our children and for us as well.
Where do you see this industry in the next 5-10 years?
Oh, listen, one of the things that the AV industry has done is overpromise and underdeliver. We've been promising for the last 15 years it's around the corner widespread usage. I do think in the next 5 years we will see an explosion of these vehicles on the roadway, but it does require government intervention. We have a limit on the number of vehicles that any one manufacturer can have today. We'll have to lift that limit if we want to give people the opportunity at greater mobility in a safer, more affordable fashion.
Selika Talbott, great conversation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy
Appreciate
the
it.
rest of the conference.
Thank you.